all of the systems of information that can help refine our consciousness and make us more effective choosers. In my own story, learning about the zodiac was the very first piece of foundational information that influenced my path. And it was kind of the gateway to all the other systems of information that I subsequently studied. And like a lot of people, when I first started studying the zodiac, I was uninformed. And so therefore I held a lot of misconceptions about what I thought it was. And I didn't discover information about the zodiac until right after I'd gotten out of business school. And it was purely by accident, circumstantial. And I remember going in for my very first astrological consultation when I was going through a big transition in my life, and honestly did it as a last-ditch effort.
Sure.
It was never something that I had per se taken seriously before.
Sure.
But I was going through a big change and I needed some direction, and I'd gotten a good referral. So I thought, I have nothing to lose, I'll go check this out. What shocked me was the level of precision down to the very dates of significant changes in my life that seemed almost like impossible information to have known otherwise. And it got my attention because it was so mathematically precise. And I thought, well, there has to be something to this. And so that began my studies under a master astrologer who also happened to be a sociologist by trade. And over the continual years of study of the zodiac, both on a personal level, how it influences one's individual life path, and also more on a global level, meaning how it influences patterns in history and cycles of time, I really realized that it was a foundational influence in our world. And what's so interesting to understand about the importance of the zodiac is that it actually has a lot to do with the foundational physics of time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. When we spoke about this earlier, it just kind of blew my mind how profound the sky clock is.
Yeah, the zodiac, the sky clock. You know, we hear these expressions, history repeats itself, right? Or things come back into fashion, right? This idea that there's almost like a circle, right? History repeats itself, fashion always comes back into style. Yeah. And where does that thought come from? Well, when we explore the idea of cycles of time throughout history, we have to ask the question, well, where does time come from? And we get mixed signals about the theory of time.
Yeah.
Some people say all you have is time, like it's finite.
Sure.
You know, you're born and then you're gonna die. So the only thing you really have is the time of your life, right?
No, that's true.
And then we hear other conflicting information like time is an illusion, right? Eternity is all that there is.
Yeah.
So which one is true and how do we find out? Well, when you study time or our perception of time, you realize one thing: time is a function of speed, which is a function of motion. So what is the first thing that's really in motion that we're measuring from, right?
It's witchcraft, baby. It's witchcraft.
It's the planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's it.
It's the planet is the first thing that's moving. Now, speed can only be measured against something else. That means there has to be something else, right? So two objects at least that we're measuring from. So we have the planet, which is moving on its own axis, orbital rotation.
If you believe in that stuff.
If we believe in it. And then we have the other planets in our solar system that are also spinning on their axis, but spinning around each other. So they're the other point of reference. Now we can measure speed.
Yes.
So time is a result of planetary motion.
Yeah.
And when you understand the physics of time being based on planetary motion, now it makes sense that we would study planetary movement to understand the perception of time, calendar keeping, being able to future cast when different trends or experiences may come our way.
some of the biggest influences in our life from cradle to grave is time and the movement of the planets. And so if we somehow discount or believe the stories that, oh, don't pay attention to the planets, don't pay attention to the lunar cycles, oh, that stuff nonsense. That's one of the most fabricated illusions around is that the planets don't matter. In fact, they're fundamental to almost everything that occurs in our life, including the cycles of waking and sleeping and digesting and resting and all these different things. And so to put them in the position of reverence that they deserve is a key to kind of grabbing hold of our lives and taking back power.
And the secret of time is woven into so much of our daily fabric that we often overlook the planetary correlation.
Sure.
Think about measuring the days of the week. There's 7 days of the week, and there were 7 traditional planets visible by eyesight.
Yeah.
We even named the days of our week after the planets. You have Saturn Day, Sun Day, Moon Day, and so on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The hours. There's 12 constellations, and you have 12 hours of daylight, and you have 12 hours of nightlight to create 24 hours in a day.
And even then, it's just when they talk about the sun and the hours, or the sun god, or the manifestation of the sun back in ancient Egypt was seen as Horus in some ways. And so Horus and hours, it's like, what Horus is it in the sky? So it looks like, oh, Horus is right over here, right? And so that's what time it is this is the hour of the day. So yeah.
And even the name Horus and the word hour is connected to the term horoscope.
Yes.
Now, usually when we say horoscope, immediately everybody starts giggling and they think you're referring to something in the back of Cosmo magazine.
Yeah.
But the phrase horoscope comes from the Latin terms horo, meaning time or hour, and scopios, which means to scope or to map out.
Yeah.
So horoscope is a map of time.
It seemed pretty critical to how you conduct your life, right?
Absolutely, right? And so even with understanding our horoscope, we're understanding the time and space reality of our individual incarnation or the experience of an event in time-space reality. Now, time is quite fascinating now that we recognize it's based on planetary motion, because there's a couple of things we often overlook about the nature of our experience of time. Sometimes we think that time is linear, right?
Yeah.
But then we hear other information that talks about past lives, future lives, intersecting timelines, premonitions, right? So is time singular and linear, or is it all these other things? How do we determine what's true? Well, again, if our experience of time is based on the physics of the planets, then we can return to observing the planets to perhaps discern what is accurate. So time is both qualitative and quantitative. Usually we think of time as an incremental measurement, a day, an hour, a second, a week, so on and so forth. But time is also qualitative, because every incremental or discrete measurement of something has a behavior or a quality or a personality associated with it, right? Certainly the springtime feels different than the wintertime.
Definitely.
Right? It has a different persona to it. So time is quantitative or discrete measurements, and each discrete measurement always has a quality about it. So to understand the quality of time is part of the necessary scientific study of the planets.
Yeah, and describing it in that way, you can see how absolutely essential and more comprehensive the study of astrology or the horoscope is that now you've taken something that's like, oh, it's just the planets moving around. Now you say, okay, it's a map for time, and it's a description of the quality of that time that's there. So what more could you, what two more empowering aspects of your everyday life would be more useful than time and quality of time?
Well, when you're understanding your personality, which is often how we use the horoscope in pop culture, is now that you know it's about the quality of a discrete measurement of time, this is why we look at the birth date, time, and location to understand the horoscope, is what was the world, the universe like when Dan came into existence, right? What is the quality or nature of that time frame? Because that is going to be the quality or nature of this person.
Yes.
So that becomes essential. The other thing we find about the physics and study of time is the fact that time isn't per se linear. Only short time is. Long time is
Cyclical.
Or
spiral even.
It goes in a circle, right? So short time means to go from, right now we're filming the podcast at, let's say, 1 o'clock. And then after this, it'll be 2 o'clock. And after that, it'll be 3 o'clock. And after that, it'll be 4 o'clock.
Sure.
But guess what? Tomorrow, it'll be 1 o'clock again, 2 o'clock again, 3 o'clock again, 4 o'clock
But this
again.
moment will never repeat. Yeah.
So time in the long run goes in a big circle, right?
Yeah.
So those expressions like history repeats itself, fashion always comes back into style, is because those experiences in our life or in our world at some point will revisit, right? They'll circulate.
Yeah, and in a way, I've had some friends in my life who will get bogged down that, well, history repeats itself, or it feels like I'm on the same rat race. But history doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but it is very similar, right? And so it resembles, so it resembles or it mimics, or it's even a facsimile, so it's not identical, but it definitely, or they say history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. And so it's very, very, very similar. Like you said, the hours of the day and each discrete moment will not repeat itself. But that is very powerful information there.
Well, and the third thing about the physics of time is that time isn't singular, it's multidimensional. So again, if the planets are the thing that creates our experience of time, we can observe the motion of the planets to understand how time works.
Yes.
And so when we look at our solar system, there's not just one planet moving, right? We have several planets all moving in concert together constantly. So if they are the dictators of time, then it immediately tells us time isn't singular. It's actually multidimensional or spiralatic, right? So we hear these expressions, multiple timelines, right?
Sure.
How could that be true? Well, when you look at the solar system and you look at the planetary motion, it shows us there's multiple speeds of planets happening all at the same time. They are in concert together. So time really is multidimensional. Now, especially if we've watched the news recently and we've been seeing some scientific discoveries and exploration of extraterrestrial intelligence, in other places of the universe, and these crafts that seem to pop in and out of time-space reality according to physics that we think is impossible, and yet we have observational evidence that somehow it's happening, is...
Conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy theories, yes, of course. But once we go, wait a minute, maybe time-space reality is actually, in fact, qualitative just as much as it's quantitative. It's circular or cyclical just as much as we think it's linear, and that it's also multidimensional, then we go, maybe what we think is supernatural or a phenomenon is totally possible if we had a better understanding of our time-space reality. And as we continue to study those things, we may discover for ourselves how such phenomena can be possible for us.
Yeah, I think simply just the act of, as we discussed earlier, of just taking this knowledge and saying, oh, no, I want to ignore it. Or I say, well, yeah, at least I'm willing to accept this. And then try to understand that it instantly causes an evolution of our consciousness, an expansion of our consciousness. And that expansion allows us to participate in higher bands of frequency information. And so the more that we try to study astrology, the better we get at studying astrology. And the more that we can then consider alternative realities that are outside of the simple, limited way of thinking of the physical reality that we'd see. Because now all of a sudden, time we've fleshed out time in a way that allows it to be a lot more flexible, a lot more nebulous, and a lot more comprehensive than we once thought it was. Oh, time is this one thing. But no, as we add contrast in context to that time, we now see that it changes everything. So simply by studying the clock of time and studying the planets that are representatives of the mechanistic aspect of the clock of time, we now have a chance to expand our consciousness, which will help aid in almost every aspect of our life. So when people say, well, why is astrology even important? In fact, I love this quote, and I've said it many times, but J.P. Morgan was once attributed to saying, whether this is myth or not, I like to believe it, but one of the financial titans of the 1900s said that millionaires don't study astrology, but billionaires do. And what a powerful piece of information. Some say try to discount that. But by discounting it, you limit its power it can have over allowing you to expand your consciousness so that you can then become a master of your reality as opposed to its victim or its enslavement. So when people discount the idea offhand, they do that at their own consequence, because the information contained within the system of knowledge and understanding is so pervasive in almost every aspect of our reality, creation and maintenance, that we will be better off, we'd be better served if we simply say, I trust what Dan and Mario are saying. Maybe I should look into this just a little bit and see how that then speaks to their soul, see how it describes things that occur in their life, describes how they may have felt ever since they were a child. It's like, well, I was born a Capricorn, but I always wondered why I was so stubborn all the time. It's like, well, that's the discrete flavor or personality of that energy at the time of their creation.
Well, going back to the importance of being a powerful choice maker, and how can systems of information help you make better decisions, is everybody's always wondering what's for me and what's coming next. Right? So this system of information with the zodiac can help answer both, because from the what's for me question, meaning what is innate to my nature that will come most naturally and successfully to me in life, whether that's my career, finances, relationships, health, is there is a map, an instruction manual about the quality of time-space reality when you came into incarnation. And all you have to do is follow its instructions, right? To answer the question, what's coming next for me? Because that's active decision making. Should I stay or leave this relationship? Should I move across the country? Should I go for this new job? Should I start my own business? Same thing. The system of planetary motion dictates time. So when you're asking questions that are time-based, use the system of time to find your answer. So looking at the planetary motion and the cycles to calculate mathematically when those multiple cycles of time, whether it's a financial question and you're tracking a financial timeline, whether it's a personal question and you're tracking a relationship timeline, will show you in calendar dates when circumstances may be most potent in your life. So as you're making plans for yourself, whether it's to launch a business or to establish a relationship, you can know down to the very date the time frames that might be most effective for you to do that. And why would you not want to use that information?
Yeah, it's like the reason why we're sitting here in the studio right now is a year ago, you had suggested like, hey, it seems like you're moving into another aspect of your career, and it seems like aligning with your personality and your zodiac sign. It's like you seem like you'd be interested in teaching or having, as you coined the phrase, edutainment or infotainment. I love that. That's what we're trying to do here. So we're trying to create infotainment, edutainment. And based on following our astrological charts, we mapped out, the plan to procure a new space, a new home, right? And you had predicted that 2 months before it kind of came out. So get in a multi-million-dollar building, and you discussed all the headwinds and tailwinds that we could be patient to either take advantage of or to make sure that we didn't lose hope in some of these situations. And so over the last year, it was remarkable how accurate my chart reading was at determining future events and possibilities. That, again, at the same time, it could be like, well, I choose not to believe that. But at the same time, I said, no, I believe this. And so sure enough, the belief in that created the opportunity for this to transpire. Absolutely.
And again, the question is, how am I using my attention, my time, and my money? And so we were able to use the astrological profiles for you and the timing systems to really see what you were best built for to expand the current manifestation of your potential, and to find the best timelines for you to succeed, to invest in a multi-million-dollar building and business and a fantastic team that you have here today. And I'm excited to see what's coming up next for you.
Well, even before that, it was, as you said, how you invest your attention, your time, and your money. And on this physical plane, it's like the best indicator of how you're going to succeed in life is, are you willing to invest in yourself? And if one of the most wealthy, successful financial people of all time said, you need to invest in, studying astrology, then I said, wow, I'm going to do that. I'm saying that it's the best money I've ever spent on that there. And so I think people should look at you up on your Instagram handle and your Facebook and what are kids on these days? Snapchat or however people can get a hold of you. We'll put the link down below. And I could sing your praises all day long as far as how influential you've been in my life at allowing me to achieve the goals that I set for myself, the goals I didn't even know that I had, that I wanted, that now are starting to become true. And so I think simply using this tool to become a more active creator in my reality has been so very helpful.
Well, thank you for that. And what inspires me so much about working with you, Dan, is we get to create the world we want to live in. And what I see in you is an extremely intelligent, wealthy, business experienced person who is trying to make a difference in the world we live in, who is trying to change the way that we lead businesses, and who is also trying to transform the way we spend and invest our money so that we can validate the values of the kind of world that is better for all of us to live in. And so to have the opportunity to be a strategic advisor for you and to support you and help you shape that mission has been a joy in my life. And when I choose the people that I want to work with, they are people like you. They are people of brilliance, of professional success, of often financial means, who are wondering, how do I take it to the next level? How do I really leave my mark and make my impact? Because these are people who are conscious and thinking and exploratory, and they want something more than just a life that's settled for. And to be able to use what I've known about these systems of knowledge to help guide them in the right direction, it takes two to tango. It takes somebody who can know or see these things, and it takes the person who is willing to put them into action and to execute the plan. That together, this is, I think, how we create the kind of lives and worlds and business teams that are really going to take us into the next century, the next age.
I love it. It's so exciting, so exciting. So if we can all learn to be more mindful of the influences in our life and how we do spend one of our most precious commodities, which is our consciousness. It really is the energy or currency of creation. And if we're mindful of that, then we can understand through investigation of how the planets move, we can understand how we can harness the quality and quantity of time to plant the seeds of our desires, of our ambition at the right time, and to understand the length of time that it would take for those to blossom and not to lose hope. And then we can take the fruits of that on an economic or financial scale and invest that money, that fruit of our labor, and reinvest it in our desire, in our dreams and our hopes and our aspiration. We truly can create the type of world that we're looking for. We can change our personal life, we can change our family's life, we can change communities, and we can change the world around us so that we do create a different reality. And as we are moving from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, this is such a glorious time for us to innovate, to discover a new way of interacting with each other, a new way of treating ourselves and the planet that we live on as we are part of the planet. And so it is such a glorious time to be alive and to be here with this wealth of information now being shared freely in the open market, to where we can help foster collaboration and cooperation and move away from the competition that's saddled us down to an enslavement mentality. So it's such a glorious time to be here, and I appreciate you all for joining us today. And I certainly hope that Maria will come back in the future and be a regular fixture on this podcast. She has such a wealth of information. And again, like I said, make sure you hit her up because it'll be worth her weight in gold. So thank you for tuning in today.
This video is sponsored by Symbolic, where I am the CEO and cosmic coach, Moriella Wren. If you're trying to find your place in life and know what's coming up next for you, then I'd love to see you in my office or online. What we do is we look at a map of who you were born to be so that we can create a strategic plan of a lifestyle and a business for you to do precisely what you were born to do based on the mathematics of your birthday.